Well, congratulations on this latest movie of yours. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of yours, so I was really
Oh,
looking.
really?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you
great.
know,
Thank you.
going back to Thunder Road, both the short film and the feature film. You
Yeah,
know,
that poor guy, we put him through hell.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because it was Sundance that Thunder Road premiered, right?
That's right. The short premiered there and won the grand jury, and then the feature premiered at South by Southwest and won the grand jury.
Right. Well, congratulations, and here you are.
Crazy. It's why I'm here. Isn't that wild? It's
Yeah.
crazy. You make a short film on a Saturday with your friends and then immediately start a career in film. It's wild.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you about, Last Stop, of course, but I was curious, why do you think, Thunder Road, the short, going back years ago, why do you think it went viral and so many people kind of took to it, why do you think
I
it
think I
launched?
think really I think really it was an amalgamation of a few things where people tend to watch viral stuff because they will see something and say, I can't believe they did that. It's something that is shocking or breaks the status quo or disrupts the norms. And then Thunder Road is about public speaking and mortality, the two biggest fears in American culture. If asked, people will say that apparently in polls. Um, and also, it's very funny and cringeworthy, and there's a bunch of gaffes, but he's also very earnest. So it feels a bit like a Pixar film where you're laughing and crying. And then the fact that it's a very copywritten, well respected song makes it feel even more taboo. Thank you to Bruce Springsteen for not suing us. And then it's all one shot. So it's incredibly um, difficult to have pulled off. And we did it. So I think the Jackie Chan of it all, of, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. And then the connection that you feel with the creator. I think that's why. I've had some time to think about it, but those are the ones that I always return to.
Yeah, of course. No, that all makes sense. I would agree with that for sure. Yeah, and then the feature film was wonderful, and when you were reading the script for Last Stop, I mean, when you were first reading it, I mean, there are some wonderful little twists, particularly with your character and the decisions he makes. I mean, did you see any of those coming when you were, first turning the pages?
No, and I was a bit shocked when everything happens. When that thing happens, I was shocked. So I was reading it upstairs in my bedroom, and I kept on turning the page. Like I read to that point, and I was like, no. And then I was like, oh, that's it. And then I was like, oh, it's just this guy. Oh, this is crazy. And so like it was very different. It was not what I expected, and that's kind of what I like about Hitchcock films. Where it's like in Psycho, you're following this character and then she's dead, and it's like, oh, or in Evil Dead, you're following characters and then it becomes a secondary character you didn't think would be the main character, and then they become the protagonist. So it's a bit of a pivot about 60 minutes into the film. No, that's kind of what I took to it. It wasn't a conventional um, new Western. It was a classic Western, and it was good.
Yeah, yeah, it was great. I certainly didn't know where it was going, so I mean, I can't wait
Okay,
for
good.
can't wait for everyone else to see it. Yeah. Is there yeah, I mean and I know, you're in front of the camera for this one. I know you've been behind the camera in addition to Thunder Road. We last saw you in beta test, I believe, which I I was obsessed with. I know you co-wrote
Oh, thank you.
that
Thank you.
wonderful little satire on Hollywood. And I was curious, this Last Stop is, wildly different, like you said, Western, crime thriller. I was curious, looking ahead, do you hope to do more kind of satire in the vein of Beta Test, or, doing a movie like Last Stop, do you're like, oh, maybe I do kind of do more like caper type stuff, or I don't know.
Yeah, when it comes to acting, I very rarely get asked. Nobody asks me. And the only time that I have acted in something, like Bill Hader asked me to be the end of Barry, which is still insane. I can't believe that happened. And then David Gordon Green asked me to be in Halloween Kills. And then
Oh
Christopher
yeah.
Nolan asked me to audition for Oppenheimer. I didn't get the part, and Martin Scorsese asked me to audition for Kills the Flower Moon. Like the only times that I really get asked is when somebody sees my movie on an airplane and then is like, "Oh, this guy could be good for something." Um, so Francis asked me to do this, and I got the jokes. I got what he was trying to do, and then he had the same understanding of the history and the tapestry of cinema. He and I have seen every Criterion Collection movie. Basically, we're just cinephiles, and so we spoke the same language. And then also we love South Park, so we were able to kind of like make the jokes actually work and actually funny. Um, so when it comes to acting, I really just respond to creators. If somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, I think you'd be good for this," I believe them. Um, and then with features and our own stuff, I think I am probably going to return to more stuff like beta test. The thing that we're fundraising for right now is back in the agency world. It's another power dynamic thing that takes place at an agency. I haven't spoken about it out loud yet. Nobody's asked me, but it's about an independent film screener leaking from a talent agency, and then the lawsuit that happens, and the fight that happens inside, and the turmoil. It's very very funny and scary. It's good.
Oh my God. I used to work at a talent agency, so
Oh, which one? Dish.
I was in the mailroom at Verve.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's sidebar. DM me afterwards. We're doing all these interviews with people who are ex and previous employees about what it was like to work there during their time.
Oh, well, I would love that. I'll be sure to. That's great. But yeah, that premise sounds wonderful. Do you have a working title by chance? I mean,
It's
that's
called The Screener.
okay.
Wow, it's the first time I'm saying it out loud. It's wild.
Well, it sounds wonderful. I mean, the possibilities for a premise like that are, and I mean, in terms of its satire, and I mean, God,
It's really good. It's
my
really good. It's
wheels are
more of a
spinning.
yeah, it becomes a courtroom drama. It's very funny. And I get to act in it, and then I get to cast all the people that I love that have helped out. We did these two short films over the last year. One of them played at Tribeca called The Last, or one of them played at South by Southwest called The Last Brunch, and then the other one's playing at Tribeca called Is Now a Good Time. And they're both kind of Ruben Ostlund inspired power dynamic social parody comedy. And I really am enjoying that. It's really fun to be on set making that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, I was going to ask, I mean, do you hope to, short films versus features? I mean, do you, I don't know, I mean, do you find yourself in the future you want to gravitate one towards the other, or you like finding a kind of balance where you hope to do a little bit of both? I don't know.
Yeah, ideally, I'd like to do both depending on our schedules and budgets. I really love shorts. They are their own art form, and you get to affect people, certainly more people with short films than you could with features.
Right.
Um, and so I really do want to continue to make that kind of stuff. That like the one of the shorts couldn't be a feature because it would be we don't have the rights to stuff. So it's nice to be able to make something that's short form. The new short that's going to Tribeca next month is about me being a Marvel Disney PR rep going to the bedside of a dying child as a Make-A-Wish Foundation to show off Captain America 4. But the movie's very long and he dies, and I'm traumatized by it. It's a comedy. It's very, very funny. But you could never do that as a feature because you'd get sued to smithereens. And so as a short and as a parody, you can do that kind of stuff. So that's something where I was just like, oh, I just want to get this like pro Martin Scorsese thing out of my system and just have it be a short that we could shoot in one day. And we did, and it's quite excellent. And then with features, you have to worry about making all the money back. So you have to make something that is very exciting, that is going to do well in the marketplace. With a short, you just get to make something beautiful. You get to make something that is going to touch people around the world. And so I like jumping back and forth. I'm very good at doing shorts. I think that's how I started. So I like jumping back and forth.
Yeah, no, that's great. And speaking of Marvel, I mean, I was going to ask, looking at the movie industry at large, you have people like Jerry Seinfeld saying the industry's dead. And I mean, I don't know, you hear something like that. I mean, do you hear something like that and say, "Oh, I completely disagree," or I see, parts of that are statements like that are true, or is curious if you ever hear stuff like that and respond to it or have your own
You
take.
know, yes, I'm a nobody's ever accused me of being an optimist. And but really, what gets me to be more positive is talking to other people, heroes of mine. I had Alfonso Cuarón in the backyard. I'm about to name drop. I had Alfonso Cuarón in the backyard a couple months ago, and we were talking about the drought of good content, I was saying like, oh, this is terrible. And he was like, no, man, I lived through the 80s. Like, no, we have a new Fincher, we have a new Scorsese. Like, you be happy with what you've got. And so like he always inspires a positivity of like, no, this is a wonderful time to be able to make truly independent content. And I think that meme where it's the guy giving the thumbs up next to the grave and it says like Hollywood on the grave, and then on him it says also Hollywood, where it's like Hollywood may be dying and falling apart, but it's always falling apart and dying, and it's always getting reborn. Like the entertainment industry isn't going away. It's just changing because these tech companies don't have to race for market share anymore. They're not competing with each other and trying to outspend each other. So there is going to be this recession that Jerry is worried about. But no, I feel very vibrant and hopeful for independent film and truly independent film over the next several decades.
Well, good. I mean, that's great. That's always nice to hear. I mean, if you were, and speaking of Marvel, I mean, if you were ever given the chance, they were like, Disney was like, oh, here's hundreds of millions of dollars, and go make a feature. I mean, would you pounce on the opportunity, or would you find yourself shying away from, a commercial film prospect like that?
No, my second film was a studio film. I think I did very well being a diplomat, and I delivered something that is in the black and is well reviewed. I think I do a good job leveling up. Nobody asks me. When it comes specifically to Disney, because of this short film, I don't think I'll ever be asked. In fact, because of the stuff that we say about Taiwan and China in the short film, I don't think I'll be able to work for any of their subsidiaries either. So in making the short film, we had to tell members of cast and crew that they should be okay with not having a job at Hulu. Like that there are these giant, it's one of the big six, and it has its tentacles and everything. It's possible you might lose work because of this thing, and I can take that risk, but it's something where to ask a gaffer to put their name on this thing that means that they won't be able to get into Beijing on their honeymoon is a very sad and scary thing. So when it comes to Disney, probably not. But I'd love to hang with James Gunn. I'd love to see what he's up to.
Yeah, don't we all? Yeah, I get it. Well, great. Well, thank you very much, Jim. And yeah, you have the first name in common, so there's your icebreaker.
There we go. Yeah, there's two Drew Cummings. One is at Disney and one is not. There you go.
Well, cool. Well, it was very nice to meet you. That's all the time I have, but congratulations on the last stop, and I can't wait to see the screener and everything else you're working on. And those short films sound wonderful.
Thank you so much, Will. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Take care.